New York's Madison Square Garden. On Wednesday, 9 teams descended in pursuit of a dream. The dream to become the Big East champion. And at the start, everyone was alive. Excitement was evident. Enthusiasm and optimism were at a fever pitch. But as time passed, reality started to set in. For 7 teams, the dream was over. Having won the last 2 championships, the Georgetown Hoyas were not about to relinquish their crown without a fight. Georgetown was tough, but Syracuse had things at hand. And so for Jim Boeheim and the Orangemen, the dream lives another night, as it does for Lou Carnesecca and the St. John's Redmen. After 3 days and 7 games, the conference's 2 top teams meet for the tournament title. 10 days ago, St. John's and Syracuse squared off here at the Garden. It was a battle for #1 in the Big East Conference. Walter Burry lit up the Garden that night. 29 points for the probable Big East Player of the Year. As for Syracuse, the Pearl penetrated and pumped and faked his way to a career-high 35, but it was not enough. Tonight, they meet for the championship live on ESPN. Madison Square Garden in New York. Standing room only, a complete sellout as Syracuse meets St. John's to decide the champion in the Big East Conference for 1986. Hi again, everyone. Len Berman along with Bill Raftery. Glad you could join us for a special night of basketball in New York. And Bill, right off, you have to consider St. John's the favorite tonight.
Well, in this building, Louis very seldom loses. However, they are playing terrific basketball. They're passing the ball well. They're making excellent judgments. They're going to be tough to beat for Syracuse.
Big names like Pearl and Burry, but I think you agree with me the key may be Raphael Addison for Syracuse.
Well, if Raph has a big night, I think Syracuse can handle St. John's. He's been off his game, but right now, the last 10 minutes of the game last night, he was assertive. Mentally, he was trying to convince himself that he could play at this level.
He got the big free throws in overtime to defeat Georgetown in one semifinal. How about Ronnie Cycli? 10 days ago when St. John's won, Cycli got an early foul trouble, and it really set the tone for Syracuse that night.
Well, and it's so easy to leave the floor when you're playing Walter Burry. But if Ronnie Cycli could get through the first half with only 2 fouls, he's got a chance to help this Syracuse team. But the pump fakes and Ronnie, a little inexperienced at center because he hasn't played over here that many years, could get in trouble.
All right, so play ball. Syracuse and St. John's for the Big East Championship. Big night here. And Bob Lee at Conference Tournament Central will keep you posted elsewhere around the country. It's college basketball on ESPN. Tonight's Big East Championship game is being brought to you by Budweiser Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by Dodge, a performance revolution, an American revolution. And back to the Garden. How did these teams get here? Well, St. John's got here by defeating Seton Hall in the quarterfinals, all 5 starters in double figures. Then they defeated Villanova last night. A tournament record 14 assists for Mark Jackson. Syracuse, a tournament record 102 points, defeating Boston College. And then the overtime thriller, beating Georgetown. Every Syracuse point in the OT from the foul line, 10 points. So now for the starting lineups for the Redmen and Orangemen. Let's go to the fabled PA announcer, Madison Square Garden, John Condon.
Welcome to Madison Square, the world's most famous arena. This game is for the championship of the 1986 Big East Conference. Here are the starting lineups. For the Orangemen of Syracuse University, at the guards, number 12, Raphael Addison. Wilson. Number 31, Dwayne Washington. At center, number 4, Ronnie Cycli. And at the forwards, number 25, Howard Trish. And number 45, Wendell Alexis. And the coach of the Orangemen, Jim Boeheim. For the Redmen of St. John's University, at the guard, number 12, Ron Rowan. Number 13, Mark Jackson. At center, number 21, Walter Berry. And at the forwards, number 30, Willie Glass. And number 31, Shelton Jones. And the coach of the Redmen, Lou Comasecca.
Little Louie, career collegiate win number 400 last night. We'll be back. Okay, Bill, your keys to winning.
Well, the good defensive rebounding by St. John's. They've got to make baskets outside. And, of course, Raphael, we alluded to him. He's got to have a big night. And, of course, Walter Berry, they've got to have somebody in front and behind. And Ronnie Cycli's got to stay on the floor in cement. Don't go for the pump fake. St. John's. Mark Jackson has to play his game. Don't get into a match with the Pearl. Just play within the confines of the offense. And, of course, Rowan and Glass with the fronting down low have to get some outside shooting from those two. And you'll see some pressing. So you have to keep the ball in Mark Jackson's hands.
I've been waiting to say this all year long. You want to hear my key to winning?
I'd love to.
Score more points than the other guys. Simple. It's an easy game.
You've always been so obvious.
Right, I know. So, obviously looking for Pearl and Berry to lead the way. Mark Jackson's already set a tournament record for assists. Willie Glass and Shelton Jones are playing fine. Howard Trish last night had a good game against Georgetown. Alexis, Addison. It's a game of stars, and you'll see who wins the Big East Championship. Rowan. Syracuse will get a crack at it.
You saw the help down low. They're going to have to do that on Berry all night.
There's Addison. There it is.
Raphael out of the gate. His head was up late. He's got to keep it up all night.
10 days ago, he scored just 5 points in the Syracuse loss. In their first meeting, when Syracuse won by 4, Addison had 23. That's why he's so important. And there they tried to front Berry, but St. John's will get another crack.
Good job by Ronnie Cycli. The 2-3, Walter Berry doesn't like to kick it out. He'll delay, but you can see Cycli, good footwork, no foul, the deflection.
Villanova allowed Berry to get the ball too easily last night. Syracuse can't allow that.
Destroyed them, too. I'm sure Roley's sick today.
Willie Glass ties it.
Are you going to give something up when you worry about Walter Berry? All these other players will cause you fits. Rowan missed the open jumper, and, of course, Willie Glass able to convert that time.
10 days ago, Willie had 19 points and 12 rebounds. So you're right. When you focus on one player, someone else will try to kill you. Willie Glass as they clean the debris.
Willie's about 20 pounds lighter than we saw him in street clothes. Took all the jewelry off.
That's right. Jim Boeheim, he and Georgetown have had an interesting history. Of the 7 Big East tournaments, Georgetown has won 4. The other 3 times, they've been knocked out by Syracuse.
Yeah. They should be very relaxed before the game as well. See what happens. This is attitude.
And part of the importance of this game is seeding in the NCAAs. We'll get into that more later. Cycli against Berry.
Great post-up by Ronnie Cycli. Walter Berry plays soft for 20 minutes. Does not want to get in foul trouble.
And in their last meeting, St. John's allowed the ball rather easily to come inside.
Walter, you love him out there. If that continues, Ronnie Cycli could have a big offensive night and, of course, change the scheme of things defensively for Lou Conasecca.
We played a minute and a half. Syracuse leads 4-2. There has not been a foul.
Timeout. Lou Conasecca. Very unusual.
Lou didn't like something he saw. St. John spends the timeout. What do you think?
In game number 1, Len, which Syracuse won, the points up front were attributed to Raphael Addison as well. And when he's up front, of course, Monroe's on the floor or Sherman Douglas. But in game number 2, you can see Cycli really didn't get one basket in that ball game. So a good start for Ronnie.
What do you think was on Lou Conasecca's mind, Bill?
I was very puzzled. Other than maybe the entry pass, he didn't like Alexis getting the ball high and dumping it low. A very unusual timeout early.
45-second clock. Buzzed as that shot was made. Berry follows.
Jimmy Boeheim playing. And, of course, that's the problem when you call a timeout. You've got to look at both clocks.
All you have to do is release the ball before 45 seconds.
Here's where he's great.
That's his spot.
He doesn't get many blocked in there either. Tremendous penetration. You'll see that all evening.
Syracuse has taken 3 shots and made them all.
Everybody down in the 3-second area for Syracuse. Worried about Walter.
Mark Jackson. Willie Glass easily tied.
He can soar.
It's tied at 6. Not yet 3 minutes gone.
Walter Berry's going to get the foul.
First foul call of the night, either way.
This is probably what the timeout was over. Berry let Cycli post up so easily the last time. Here he gets caught. You can't make that contact. You've got to slide, give yourself a cushion so the offensive man can't push you. And of course, Raphael in tune early.
You said 20 points was the magic number. If Addison got 20, Syracuse should win it.
You're going to hold me to it.
He's got 4. Shelton Jones blocked by Cycli.
Protecting his turf. Ronnie has to get it just a little bit higher. Don't get even with Walter Berry. You can see him flattening out. Now that's it. It's got to be 3/4. Steps. And that's because of Cycli. He has a habit of making you think if you're an offensive player. Of course, St. John's a good shot blocking team. Here with the trap, good fill by Willie Glass, but no foul, good timing. Cycli forces the walk.
Pearl.
Pretty.
Rolled off Cycli's hands. Rowan, outlet pass, keys a fast break. Mark Jackson with Rowan behind him. Tied at 8. Syracuse quickly the other way.
Pearl pretty fast with the dribble.
Addison into Cycli. 2 more.
That's what they ought to do. That soft St. John's inside defense, Len. We mentioned it the last couple of nights. Syracuse going after them early. Walter does not like to foul, particularly in the first half.
Syracuse looking a lot better than they did against St. John's. Even though Syracuse had a fine first half, it's the fouls got him in trouble. 2 on Cycli. Here to steal. The Orangemen with a 2-point lead.
Oh, what a pass.
Trish.
The Pearl on the money.
Syracuse fans on their feet. Orangemen look good, leading by 4 with 4:45 gone, first half.
Trish, the quiet man, Len, just does a little here, a little there. Helps his club. Good post defense so far by Ronnie Cycli. Here he's caught, though. Good help.
Well, what will this game mean for the seeding in the NCAAs? Because Syracuse does get the home floor for the first and second round games.
I would believe, and we talked to both Jim Boeheim and some of the St. John's people, it's more important for St. John's because I think they possibly could move up to 4 and be one of the top 4 seeded teams. For Syracuse, I think they might end up playing at home. Of course, it all will be told Sunday night. That's just a guess. Look at Trish take off.
3-on-1. Pearl behind the back to Mason. Syracuse, 7 of 8 shooting. They opened up a 6-point lead.
It's like old times Radisson.
You have to ask where he's been the last few weeks. I know he had an ankle injury.
The head was on vacation. Good step in there by Wendell Alexis.
Each of these teams has won 1 Big East tournament title. Syracuse on its own floor in the second year. St. John's here 3 seasons ago.
You have to remember, though, St. John's can look so bad and then so good during different periods of the game. Good pump fake by Ron Rowan, and that's the scouting report. Get out on him. Wendell Alexis paid attention, but paid for it.
First Syracuse foul of the night. Willie says, keep it rolling. 6 minutes have elapsed, and Syracuse has looked smart. 14-8.
That's caught.
Flipped it to Berry, and there it is. 2 field goals for Walter.
Jimmy Boeheim's mad at Ronnie Cycli, but I liked what he did. He didn't get the help from Alexis, though. He gambled over the top. But they can get it to Cycli. Berry fighting him.
Ooh, wild shot from Alexis, and a whistle. This will be no basket.
Wendell could have hurt his fingers if he caught that shot.
And he compounded it by picking up his second personal foul. We're trying a second, telling Mark Jackson to move it, whip it around, get something going. I think he was a little unhappy with the half-court offense.
Well, you knew it would be the 2-3. Good job by Cycli once again. He's really working inside.
Syracuse leads it by 4.
See Walter drifting out. He likes to touch the ball.
That should be out off of Cycli, so St. John's will keep it.
They could frustrate Walter Berry a little bit. Don't let him touch it. He'll start popping out, looking for the long jumper. For him,
that's what happened in the game at Syracuse. He was very frustrated.
What a rebound.
And the third try. I think what you said before about St. John's can look bad and stay in the game and look so good at times because of talent like Shelton Jones right there and Willie Glass. They can really, with their athletic ability, come at you in spurts.
Well, Jones has won a few games, Georgetown one in mind, where he'll hurt you with his scoring. So they do have a guy that appears on occasion.
On occasion, he blocked 4 shots in the last meeting against Syracuse. He can be exciting at times. Trish from outside. We've seen guys do things from spots they're not accustomed to seeing. Shelton Jones, then Trish.
He's grown as a player, though. Confident, a contributor.
16-12 Syracuse, 12:20 left, first half.
They've done a good job negating Walter Berry inside.
Rowan got it to him. Berry misses the shot. And Pearl will throw it up Broadway with 8 minutes gone first half.
Now, Ronnie Cycli has to switch the way he denies that pass. He's got to come baseline the next time. Walter Berry's going to make him pay for the gamble up top. He's got him. Bad pass.
Billy Glass has Jackson on one side. Takes it himself.
And a good non-call, or it should have been on the Pearl. Either one. I'm so tired of guys just falling over.
All right, 6 for Glass. Syracuse leads by 2. The next dead ball will be a television timeout. 11:33 remaining first half.
Lenny, the 1-3-1. This is the summer clinic talk for Luke on a second. A little wrinkle once in a while.
Trish is left alone in that defense and nails another one. 6 points for Trish. 18-14 Syracuse.
Good perimeter passing. Of course, St. John's not great slides. They don't play that 1-3-1 often. Just a wrinkle.
lot of holes in that 1-3-1.
Well, if you're patient, you can find it. Of course, nobody better than the Pearl.
Rowan. And St. John's will keep it after that timeout. So, 10:59 left, first half. It'll be St. John's ball with Syracuse leading the Redmen by 4.
A public service message from ESPN.
There's a certain feel for the game that the Pearl has here. Ronnie Rowan turned a little hidden from the basketball. He bangs the chest pass, the proper pass. Here he's got a lane filled with Howard Trish on the left, so he sucks the defense that way, and then the little giveaway and a wrap back on top of his game, showing some missing enthusiasm.
Fascinating numbers from field goal percentage. Syracuse 82, St. John's half that. These are the top 2 shooting teams in the conference. St. John's number 1, Syracuse 2. And these numbers I don't think will continue throughout the game.
You're going to get shots on the Pearl side. Look at Willie Glass. That's the shot. I mean, that's 16 feet.
Is that the elbow you were talking about earlier?
He's down helping out. Willie's at this elbow now.
You're right about Berry coming out to where he can get the ball. He can't see it low, and he'll move out and find it.
He'll come over by us if they don't get him the ball. Looking to get free.
6 for Berry, 6 for Glass, 6 for Trish, 6 for Addison. 18-16 Syracuse as we near the midway mark of the first half.
Walter's working harder in his defense since that timeout.
Bro, he just throws up a non-rotation shot. He just floats.
Back to Mark Jackson, 10 feet from the basket. Got to make a stand. Easily said. Tougher to do.
Halfway now, first half. Big East championship game. Syracuse leading St. John's 2016. 4 points for Pearl Washington.
Now the Pearl backs all the way down. If they reverse it, Alexis has to come up. Boy, what a shooter's delight.
Willie Glass. Alexis the rebound. Syracuse up by 6. Pearl to Trish.
Howard Trish gets out when he reads rebound Syracuse, and one of the premier guys on the break, the Pearl, found him.
8 for Trish. 6 assists already on Syracuse's 22 points, and Pearl has 2 baskets. He's accounted for almost all the offense so far.
Ronnie got caught.
Fouled by Cycli.
They reversed the ball well, and Cycli did not react well. Got caught sneaking a pig. He's looking at the ball and forgets about Walter. See the ball reversed. He never looked for Walter. Gets caught. Good seal there. And of course the giveaway by Ronnie Cycli.
Just 3 fouls committed by Syracuse, 1 by St. John's. This is a shooting foul, though. Berry, a 69% foul shooter, will have 2. He sinks both of them. Bit better than he's been doing in the tournament. And as we near the 9-minute mark, Syracuse leads St. John's 22-18.
This is where the Pearl is tough now. He's off the ball. If they reverse to him, sometimes he takes his man.
Cycli, turnaround bank shot.
And he also had Pearl on a nice cut. Make it tough on Walter Berry. He's got to be made to play somebody.
Well, Syracuse has taken 14 shots and missed just 2.
And a lot of them very easy, though. St. John's normally tough on the D.
Shelton Jones.
Nice pass by Mark Jackson.
Jackson with his assist tonight could very well become the NCAA record holder for assists in 1 year. He only did 7 going in.
When you have a guy like Walter Berry on your club, you're going to end up with a lot of easy shots if you're active. Everybody's worried about him. They got Shelton Jones on Cycli now. Good move. Scored a goal.
That gives Cycli 8 points.
Louis Gonzaga not gambling on a second foul on Walter Berry. You see Ronnie pinning his man down. And Walter with a message.
Inside of 8 minutes to go in the half. Color of the first half thus far, orange. 26-20 Syracuse.
Defense packed way down. They're going to give the outside shot.
Jackson penetrated, got it off the glass, and it goes off glass. Willie with 8 points, matching Berry, Trish, and Cycli, all with 8.
That dribble by Mark Jackson pushed the zone even deeper than it was, Len.
Gets an assist for that, doesn't he?
Sure. This is the guard, and they give him for anything here.
Last touch, that's the assist, eh? Syracuse by 4, 26-22, 7:10 left in the half. Trish.
Silly foul. They gave it to Walter Berry.
That's his second. Just 2 against St. John's in the half, and Berry has both of them.
Walter Berry may be the best player in the country at not getting number 3 before the half.
Okay. How about Trish? He had 13 against Georgetown last night, and if he hits these 2 shots, he'd have 10 in the first half.
Very confident. Of course, he runs the floor very well. He's a stocky type player, but gets down the floor quickly.
Right now, he gets the vote for unsung hero of the tournament. 9 points for Trish. They will be picking a tournament MVP and an all-tournament team, so think about some of those selections. I would assume the winner of the tournament MVP is going to be either Walter Berry, Mark Jackson, or Pearl Washington.
And man-to-man now by Syracuse. First look.
Less than 7 minutes to go in the half.
Alexis on Walter Berry. I think he's a better inside defender.
Look at Trish dive to the floor. And a television timeout. 6:47 remaining first half. The Syracuse lead over St. John's is 5. Tournament, Pearl Washington has 52 thus far. And Mr. Berry has 55, so both of them taking dead aim at the Pearl's records. We'll run down all the tournament records. There have been many set in the last few nights here at the Garden in the Big East Tournament.
Pearl is flattening all the way down. They've got to make him pay for it. Back to the 2-3.
Mark Jackson throws up a shot.
Bad shot.
Ball on the baseline. Syracuse ball.
Willie Glass last to touch.
Well, when do you think we'll get a substitution in the game?
I think you'll see the Pearl go out. I'll tell you why. In talking to the coaches, they feel they made him play too long last night, and he didn't have a lot of gas left in the second half. Did make some mistakes, and deep by Raphael. And he just feels so good about himself because it's been a titanic struggle the last month.
8 for Addison, Syracuse's largest lead, 29-22, 6 minutes to go. There have been few fouls and no substitutions yet in this first half of the championship game. A turnover. That's Pearl's spot, goes to the glass beautifully there, but it doesn't connect. One of the rare Syracuse misses here in the first half. Offensive foul on Mark Jackson.
Twice now Mark's gotten inside, took a bad shot this time, and he has done this very few times during the course of the season. Over-penetrated, tried to slide.
And who was the man waiting?
Surish, the quiet man.
Okay.
Very subdued, nonchalant. Boy, is he effective.
Look at that. Syracuse has missed just 3 shots. 88% shooting. 5.5 minutes to go in the half. Pearl.
1-3-1 they were against there. Walter almost got the next one.
Pearl keeps it alive. Dishes off to Addison. Pearl has 8 assists. Addison has 10 points. The Orangemen lead by 9.
He's so good when he gets in the 3-second area. He just has an affinity to find people.
Rowan misses. Berry kept it alive. Steps. It's all going Syracuse's way here with 5:09 remaining first half. St. John's calls time. And a reminder, coming up at halftime, Conference Tournament Central, Bob Lee, Chris Wallace. Scores and highlights of all the tournaments around the country. Georgia Tech and Maryland in a dandy game today in the ACC. The Pearl on a steal. Would you believe he has 9 assists already in this game?
Well, Walter Berry was trying to tip it, and of course the Pearl wisely slapped it down once again in deep. He's so difficult to contend with. The dish.
Syracuse here inside of 5 minutes left in the half. A chance to go up by 11. Alexis.
Great move, because they went right to Wendell Alexis, who's got Walter Berry, who will not get number 3.
Not a whole lot Carnesecca can say. Big East Coach of the Year is going to have to figure something out here. Syracuse, a juggernaut, an 11-point lead, 4:35 remaining in the half.
They're going to have to make a few outside. Walter Berry's just not touching the ball enough. In his scoring area, that is.
And a kick and a fresh 45. Syracuse on a 7-point run now over the last 3 minutes.
Willie Glass got to take some shots, too. He's got to step in and look for it. He's been the postman the last 2 times. Walter Berry's popping out.
A lot of this, their defense, Bill. Fine Syracuse defense.
Excellent.
Jones can't crack it. Cycling hit it outside.
And he intimidated a little bit. Changed the shot. Walter Berry now at the elbow. He needs the ball. But Willie missed a couple early. He's got to be confident to stroke the jumper. They're not moving the ball quickly either.
There will be a substitution in this half. John Hempel ready for St. John's. No subs yet. 3:35 remaining in the half. Rowan hands it, breaks the run, cuts it to 9.
Don't hang tough. I think they're trying too much and not moving and reacting on offense.
And part of that, if I can steal some of your thunder, I think because Syracuse hitting so many shots, St. John's just can't get a break under it.
No easy goals. Alexis got Berry, had him pinned.
Berry playing with 2 fouls.
3 seconds. Good call.
3-second violation.
He had shaped up. Went to camp.
So Alexis whistled for 3 seconds, and the first substitution of the game. As Ron Rowan rests, replaced by John Hempel. Movement, is that what he said? I'll try to read Louis' lips. I think he's talking about ball movement.
I think that's one of their problems. Rowan, of course, missed it. I like that, though. Hempel was in for Rowan, then Rowan hit it. A lot of guys yanked the guy and put him in for somebody else.
Another steal. Pearl goes to town. 6 points for Washington. Syracuse by 11, 35-24. 2:45 left in the half.
Again, Hempel, one of those subs, few in the country. He'll come in, take his shots, mix it up, not the least bit afraid. Of course, those 2 years at Mass didn't hurt.
Jackson from the outside. Berry and Jones miss follow-ups. Pearl in the open floor.
Look at that head and shoulder.
Addison. Not that time. Trish kept it alive for Alexis.
Well, Hempel,
Syracuse ball.
I thought he got bumped, but this is the most enthusiasm I've seen Syracuse have all year. Now, we've seen a lot of the game. They just seem to be after the loose balls, active on the rebounding, into the flow.
I wonder if the guys on the bench are saying, you know, this is fun to watch. We may never get in tonight the way things are going. Addison, 2 more. 12 in the first half for him. No secret why the Syracuse lead is now 13, their largest.
It's almost a 1-1-3. They drop the off guard down. You see Addison down, helping, looking for Berry.
Glass. And a foul called against Cycling, who can't believe it. He thought he had a block. His second foul.
Prostrate on the ground. I thought he had all ball, too. But that's the kind of show of emotion that makes you play at a higher level. You see Alexis letting him go by. I thought Ronnie got all ball. If anything, some leg. Go to the deck, Ron.
Willie Glass shooting 2. And now a couple of St. John's subs. Rowan comes back. And Terry Bross is in. And Berry sits down, so he doesn't pick up his third with 1:43 remaining in the half.
When he's had the 2, that's been the rule, as well as the other players on the club. Lou takes them out.
Glass is the first Redmond to hit the double figures. Syracuse 37, St. John's 26. 1:40 left in the half. And Syracuse will make a substitution. Greg Monroe and Derek Brower make that Rodney Walker. Both of them will be coming in for Syracuse.
Good post up by Sight. Boy, are they going to him. Terry Bross, I believe they're going to score the goal, too. Ooh. Oh, they did. Ball was on the floor, no goal. But Cycli pins Terry Bross here. Nice step across. I thought he may have walked after the foul. You see him jump with the feet. Good call. No basket. They said it was on the floor.
So both Alexis and Cycli are taken out because each of them has 2 fouls apiece. This is Rodney Walker in, along with this man, Greg Monroe. Monroe has been a Redmond slayer in past years.
Syracuse could take their time. Not a good shot, even if it goes. Not a good shot. They had a full 45, in control.
St. John's with a chance to cut it to 9. 1:10 to go in the half. Jackson, a bit of a wild shot. Walker the rebound.
That was the concern coming in. If he plays within himself, he's tough. But when you're matched up against one of the premier players in the country, everybody likes to prove themselves.
Pearl says spread it out. Lee Carnesecca on his bench is yelling, "What are you doing, Mark Jackson? That's not the shot he wanted."
Good move here.
45 left in the half. 18 on the 45-second clock. And they don't have to challenge them this year in college basketball. Defense can just wait there. In past years, they had to come out and play defense or get a warning and then a technical.
Clear it out. Let me whirl.
8 points for Washington. The Syracuse bench, little used but happy with a 13-point lead. 12 seconds to go till halftime. St. John's needs a break. Syracuse should probably want to play right through. Mark Jackson's open. At the halftime buzzer. The Redmond needed it. Syracuse, perhaps their finest half this season in a critical game. They led by 13, but now it's 11. 39-28 Orangemen. Tonight's Big East Championship game is being brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. And by UPS. Whether it's overnight letters or packages, UPS runs the tightest ship in the shipping business.
Conference Tournament Central back at SportsCenter. I'm Bob Lee along with Chris Wallace. And so a decisive first half. Few might have expected it would be a 13-point lead, which is what? 39-26, that is the Syracuse advantage. There are 9 bids at stake tonight as we come down the home stretch. 1 more tomorrow afternoon. Of the 9 bids, you'll see 3 of them happen live on ESPN. The Big East, then the WAC. From the Big Sky, we'll have live reports from the Mid-American Conference where it's going to be Ball State taking on the Miami of Ohio Redskins, and Ron Harper. Live reports on that one as well tomorrow afternoon, the Southwest Conference. Now, what's been happening today? It has been an exhilarating day in the Metro Conference, for example. Memphis State taken to the wire, barely gets by Florida State. Louisville blows out Cincinnati. We'll have live reports tomorrow on the Memphis-Louisville matchup. The ACC live on ESPN. Duke, Johnny Dawkins, 24 points. They defeat Virginia. Georgia Tech, Dwayne Farrell intercepts the inbounds pass, a slam with a second to go, wins it. The final tomorrow evening at midnight Eastern time. In the Big 8, we had live coverage of the final moments of Kansas with a 2-point win over Oklahoma. Iowa State over Nebraska. Jeff Hornacek, 17 points. The Cyclones play Kansas tomorrow. Texas Tech upset TCU. The final moments live on ESPN. Tony Benford, 22 points. A&M over Texas. Winston Crate had 13 second-half points. The final game tomorrow, 2 Eastern time. Northeastern is into the tournament. They defeat Boston U. Reggie Lewis at 16 points. The Huskies in the tournament for the 5th time in 6 years. Kentucky wins over Alabama. 11 straight home wins for the Cats. Kenny Walker, 20 points. Alabama should go at large. UNLV by 20 over the Aggies of New Mexico State. Anthony Jones, 22 points. The Rebels are 31-4. In the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, the semis tonight. So Howard knocks out Maryland Eastern Shore. NC A&T to play Bethune-Cookman. That'll be coming up a little bit later. The finals tomorrow afternoon. Ohio Valley Conference just getting started. The Akron Zips a 4-0 lead over the Blue Raiders of Middle Tennessee State. The ECAC Metro in Pittsburgh. Marist and FDU on the Robert Morris Court. The Red Foxes lead the Knights by 1 point. And Indiana and Michigan today, it was no contest. Michigan wins the automatic bid, and with it the Big Ten championship, 80-52 in that game. Roy Tarpley had 21 points the first time that anyone's gone back-to-back, as Michigan's done now in the Big Ten since Indiana did it back in 80 and 81. So you're pretty fairly well caught up. We'll talk about this first half and the 2 other games coming away this evening, and then we'll get you back to Len and Bill at the Garden. Conference Tournament Central continues. I'm Bob Lee. A correction, errata here. It was Syracuse 39-28, 11-point lead over St. John's. Nonetheless, Chris Wallace, who is the editor of the Blue Ribbon College Basketball Yearbook, that takes nothing away from what Syracuse has done in this first half, which is play darn good basketball.
Yes, as Len Berman said, this is their best half of basketball this year, Bob. I was really impressed with how Syracuse came out with, I mean, it's a cliche, but they literally had fire in their eyes. They came out to play. They know that St. John's has a home court advantage in the Garden, and they couldn't mess around. And Pearl's been a basketball version of Dan Marino directing the offense.
And you last night were giving me chapter and verse over how Syracuse certainly, we know, plays well at home. They played their first and won their first 10 games at home, but on critical road games has not performed well this year.
That's right. They were 0-3, as we mentioned the other day, in critical road games, and hey, they're getting it done right now. I really don't know what Lou Carnesecca can do to counteract Syracuse, because if they keep playing like this, it's all over.
Western Athletic Conference is our 9 o'clock game. Our port of call, Laramie, Wyoming, the Arena Auditorium. It's going to be UTEP and Wyoming. If you weren't with us just before, about 6 Eastern time, we told you about how wild it's been. Wyoming, the top seed, the host team, has won 2 games on buzzer shots. There has been a fracas out there. They're going to separate and segregate the UTEP fans tonight. They won't serve the out-of-towners in the local bars. That's how much these games mean.
Yes, this is a real big deal in Laramie, Wyoming, and to the WAC teams to be on national television. I'm going to give you a few names here to consider. For UTEP, Juden Smith and Dave Feidel, both of them will go in the first 2 rounds of the NBA draft. And for Wyoming, Fennis Dembo. If Dick Vitale was here, he would say Fennis is a BMOC, a PTP, an ABC, an RFG. He'd throw out all the initials. Watch Fennis, Dembo, Smith, and Feidel.
That happens when you listen to Dick in your ear for about 3 consecutive days. Let's talk about what's going to be happening in the Big Sky. Montana State. And with Montana, with the Grizzlies, Larry Krystowiak. We profiled him on the College Basketball Report 2 times, the Big Sky Player of the Year, very possibly 3 times.
Yes, one of the best underpublicized players in the country. He's had considerable international experience. And, hey, this could be a historical moment for the state of Montana, Bob. I doubt if Montana and Montana State have ever played before on national TV.
All right, so that is 3 games tonight. We will also have live reports coming along on the Mid-American Conference where Ohio U has been knocked out. Ron Harper and Miami of Ohio. Chris, they'll be taking on the team from Ball State, the Cardinals. Now, this was an unexpected turn of events.
That's right. Ohio University, I believe, was the 2nd-seeded team. Ball State blew them out last night, but hey, you got to go with Miami and Ron Harper.
Okay, and again, a reminder, tomorrow afternoon on SportsCenter, we'll have our complete coverage of the brackets. We'll fill in the big board, all 64 teams, at 6:30 Eastern time. I'll be joined by Dick Vitale, and of course, between now and then, you'll have your chance, and we'll be flashing those phone numbers to vote for your Conference Tournament Central Player of the Year. The announcement will be made tomorrow evening at 6:30 Eastern time. We've got an 11-point lead for Pearl and the lads. Back to the Garden to Len and Bill in a moment.
Welcome back to Madison Square Garden in New York. A first half dominated by Syracuse, and they lead St. John's in the Big East Championship game 39-28. Len Berman along with Bill Raftery. I don't know, what do you say if you're Luke Carnesecca here?
Well, there's not much you can say about the way Syracuse is playing, but your own club, I don't think their pass passing the ball quickly. I don't think they're stepping into their scoring areas well. And, of course, Syracuse has something to do with it. They're playing the passing lanes and doing some intriguing things. But I think it's an emotional half. I think you're berating your players. You're trying to get them into the flow.
Take a look at this shot. Where do you think Pearl is? Resting on the bench, getting ready for a foul shot? No, he's standing out in the middle of traffic, just waiting for the time to pass.
Turns to Boeheim.
Play is in. This was not during a timeout. Finally, he saw something.
And, of course, the penetration, head and shoulders. Is that enough? And then the pivot feet and the slide across with that simple kiss shot.
Take a look at the Pearl playing some defense now.
Well, this is what I think they did well. They'll get a hand on this pass. He's just lulling. Slaps it away, and of course the finish, looking over the shoulder like a jockey to make sure nobody's catching up with him.
And Pearl, 8 points, 9 assists. Now how many turnovers? None, after setting a tournament record yesterday against Georgetown when he had 11 in the victory.
Well, last night was the first bad game he's had in about 3 weeks, but back on tune tonight. You mentioned no assists, just orchestrating, getting the ball to the right people, and of course backing St. John's right down into the 3-second area with the dribble.
Well, let's take a look at Walter Berry trying to get open. Obviously, he's the key for St. John's, and here's what the Orangemen are doing to him.
Well, Ronnie Cycli's worked very hard. He's been diligent, knowing where Walter is, closing, getting the right leg over here to make sure the entry pass doesn't come in, stepping in front, watching the ball as best he can. And, of course, when they went man-to-man, they put Wendell Alexis on him, who's their premier defender inside.
And Walter Berry needs more than 5 shots. That's all he got in the first half.
He's not touching the ball down there either. One time early it went down. They went after him. So they got to move the ball quickly and hope Walter shapes up and then dump it down.
You know what Syracuse shot in the first half? 73%. That's why they lead right now at halftime, 39-28. More facts and figures and the second half coming up. Tonight's Big East Championship game is being brought to you by Today's Chevrolet, who invites you to live the style, performance, and fun of Chevrolet in '86. And by the financial professionals at Payne Weber Incorporated. And the first half stats, field goal percentage tells a big story. 73% for Syracuse. St. John's, 38.7%.
Was Howard Trish 4 for 4 too, huh?
How about Howard Trish for the all-tournament team? There would be a surprise choice. Look at that. 12 points for Addison, 9 for Trish, 8 for Pearl to go with his 9 assists. Cycli with 8. And for St. John's, Glass leads them with 10, Berry 8, Rowan trying to crank it up from outside, but here's Howard Trish. Who would have thought when this season began that he would be such a pivotal figure? 4 for 4 from the field, 1 of 2 from the line.
I must say Boeheim did. He knew early on that he was going to be on the floor. But great shooting, the whole story. Easy goals, transition baskets, and Lou Conaseca struggling to get any easy baskets. And Raphael Addison has perked this club up as well, Syracuse, because he was on vacation for a couple of weeks.
Right.
He's arrived, baggage and all.
12 points for Addison. All right, here we go. Second half. Syracuse's ball with an 11-point lead. 20 minutes to the championship.
Well, Alexis had Berry. They just didn't go to him. That's that high low that Syracuse runs so well. No help. Good look by Raphael Addison. They put Cycli high. No weak side help.
And immediately Syracuse matches its largest lead. 13 points, 41-28. 40 seconds gone. Second half. Shelton Jones passed up the shot, gave it to Mark Jackson, so St. John's gets an inside play.
They're so intent on Walter Berry low, and of course they're out quickly on the shooters, rolling Glass. Shelton Jones has shaped up a few times, and a nice dish that time by Mr. Jones. They figure Walter's not going to guard Alexis, and they may be right.
But Berry does get the rebound. Alexis missed it. St. John's with a rare fast break tonight. There was Syracuse's shot, but Rowan can't get it to drop. Cycling cradles out of there. Up for Trish. Air ball. St. John's wants to come back. Mark Jackson between his legs and between two Orangemen.
Pearl right there, forced him to it. Good look.
Willie Glass and a foul.
That's the first time you've seen St. John's rushing up the floor. Of course, they need a little excitement as well. Berry one time in the dish to Rowan. This time Shelton. And who says you can't see your partner off the jump shot? Good luck. And number 3 on Ronnie Cycling.
So the emotion from Willie Glass as he hits for 12 points, and the 3 fouls against Cycling. Important. Glass completes the 3-point play, and the Syracuse lead, which was 13 just a moment ago, is suddenly 8.
They've been going to Alexis. Let's see if they continue or go back into their offense. Sometimes that hurts your club when you isolate, try and get a foul on a particular player. And they're still doing it.
Easily to Alexis, and he rolls it in that time. Syracuse by 10, 43-33, with 2 minutes gone second half.
I see Luke on a second switch and hope they get a couple of trips with Walter Berry playing Cycling just to see if Syracuse picks it up.
Mark Jackson cans it.
I was talking to Dave Gavitt at halftime. He was talking about the angles of the Syracuse defense, saying that he thought they played some passing lanes so that St. John's should reverse the ball.
Burrow in traffic. Doesn't go. Glass the rebound. Suddenly, St. John's can cut it to 6.
Willie close to a walk. Pearl stepped in on Mark Jackson. Willie didn't expect it. You don't mind Walter Berry touching it out deep. Not that he can't make it. There's the guy you worry about deep.
Alexis the rebound on the Rowan miss.
Look at them get down the floor.
Washington.
With the pass, he flattened all the St. John's defenders, and then Pearl raced to the foul line.
10 points for the Pearl. Syracuse leads St. John's by 10, 45-35.
Almost giving Mark that little slot shot.
Doesn't go for Berry. Here comes Washington. Really lost it. Now he did. First turnover for him.
Nice look.
Shelton Jones to run Rowan.
Same type of play by Shelton Jones. Pearl, one of the few times this evening, sloppy with the basketball.
Mark Jackson at 6.
Rowan with a terrific pass over Pearl Washington. Set up that dribble move.
The 13-point lead is sliced suddenly to 6. Suddenly and swiftly, Bill, the Redmen have come back.
Well, excitement, and that's what college athletics happens to be. Emotion gets you in the game. Of course, Ron Rowan with a little loop pass, and then a prying type of dribble by Mark Jackson, and that's what he has to do. Just play within himself. The Pearl is Pearl. You be Mark Jackson, and Mark Jackson's not bad.
Wow. An 11-4 run in the last 4 minutes, and Cycling is out. Walker replaces him. Trish misses. St. John's another rebound.
Not that that was a bad shot, but a quick shot. Patience. Get a feel. Want the best one possible after a timeout, particularly when the opponent is making a run. Alley-oop.
Foul called against Trish, a two-shot foul.
Saying they went under him. On the shot they're claiming? Trish trying to take the legs out as well as Rodney Walker. Oof. I don't know about two.
I guess in alley-oop, it's tough to determine when the pass stops and the shot begins, huh?
I don't know if he ever got control of the ball to be a shooter. I know Walter is not a fan of passing inside, but...
Cycley's back. Alexis and Trish are out, and Greg Monroe back for Syracuse. So some more substituting here, more so down in the first half. Berry shooting two.
Of course, Wayne Morgan fed me that information that the Pearl would be rested. That's how much he knows.
Good inside information we always get, right?
Well, he and Bernie Fine are always good to us, filling us in on some of the things that Syracuse might do in the evening.
45-41. Inside of 15 minutes remaining.
1-3-1. Looking for a little excitement. Quick shot, turnover. This is where the Pearl's very good, finding a spot.
Monroe. Called on Walker, who was a little hot. Now he shakes hands with Berry. Walker and Berry, good move.
Rodney Walker fouled hard and slapped hands hard. Easy call, really, over the top of the positioned Walter Berry.
14.5 minutes to go now. St. John's can cut it to 2. It's a game we just don't expect. We hardly expected Syracuse to so dominate in the first half, and I'm sure you and I didn't think St. John's would cut it as quickly as they have in the second half.
I think just the pace of the game quickened. They got a few easy baskets.
Willie Glass, and now St. John's able to move inside, Bill.
On a turn in the corner, and it's really lazy defense because on the baseline, you've got plenty of help in the middle.
15 for Glass. They may need 7 or 8 spots on an all-tournament team. How do you leave Willie Glass off? How do you leave Harold Presley off? The way Trish has played.
Of course, I know the Pearl's got one. Berry's got one.
How about Jackson's getting one? And another miss. Addison, and he's ruled out of bounds by Jody Sylvester coming from the other side.
And a good call. I'll tell you why. Dick Vaccaro was watching for fouls. He was looking up. Jody took the baseline.
Guess what? Syracuse is up 13. On this possession, St. John's can tie it. The steal. Rowan caught in between. Here comes Pearl Washington. What a move.
Oh, he just let Willie go by. All left hand. Strength and agility.
Wow. Instead of St. John's tying, quickly the Pearl makes it a 4-point Syracuse lead inside of 13 minutes left. Good passing. Gives Rowan an assist, and Shelton Jones his 3rd field goal. Rowan's assists are overlooked with all the dish-offs that Mark Jackson completes.
Here's a 2-3 now, or a 1-1-3, whichever you'd like. See Mark Jackson throwing in the middle. Yep, whatever.
Easily to Cycley, fouled by Willie Glass, and that one you would call a good foul. Glass is first.
Now, St. John's is not his own team. Over the years, Louis never used one, but the last few he's put some wrinkles in. But on the change, they didn't really slide. They weren't used to the zone slides. And Ronnie Cycley, you can see Willie Glass caught looking out. He really doesn't even know that they're in the 2-3. And Cycley finds a hole. And, of course, his enjoyment is negated by the slow-reacting Willie Glass.
Cycley, who struggles at the foul line, hits his 9th point. Syracuse by 3. And he rolls in another one. Double figures for Cycley. Syracuse 49, St. John's 45. They tied for first place in the regular season. St. John's got the seed based on tiebreakers, and here they're going after the championship head-to-head as Jackson holds his elbow.
I think Paparo saw him wincing. He must have gotten it involved down low with the big guys. Syracuse fans getting unmarked. Not much sympathy there.
Really glass in the lane. Doesn't go. Curry. And it's called against Alexis. His third, so he and Cycli with 3 apiece, and that could tell a story with 12-13 remaining.
Walter Berry not touching the ball much. It's been all the perimeter people. Kept moving, got himself in position for the follow.
Fouls absolutely killed Syracuse in their meeting 10 days ago. Great disparity in the number of fouls called. And you and I speculated how the first thing a coach would say would be, what about those fouls? I am told that Jim Boeheim said nothing about it. Didn't even allude to the officiating. He did not think that was the cause of the loss. 11 points for Berry. The Syracuse lead is 3 as we near the 12-minute mark.
1-3-1. Louis going to the well. This is where the Pearl's very good now. He'll try, get it for himself or somebody in better position. Bad pass. Nice look.
Addison, the pass to Trish, and he's fouled by Shelton Jones.
Shelton Jones has a beef here. The arm is extended. Howard Trish, like a lot of players, you don't want your shot blocked. Great pass by Raphael Addison. Now watch the left arm. Tough to see with the backboard, but he had extended it and shoved a little bit.
Look at that. 11 points for Trish, unable to complete the three-point play. Syracuse has its lead back up to 5. St. John's has never led in the game.
They've been running down and through, too. A little change this half. See a little more motion.
Berry, a push shot from the baseline. 13 points, his first field goal of the second half. If he gets it, he's going to shoot.
Well, people question whether he can shoot that 10, 12-footer. He can, but he's so tough inside. Why put him out there? But against the zone, there's a hole there. And as you mentioned, he's so offensive-minded, he'll find it.
The alley-oop for Cycli. One more assist for Pearl.
He's even smooth when he receives an accolade.
11 assists.
He looks away on his slaps.
Maybe he sees a better slap somewhere else. He's always looking. They get it to Berry. He gives it up to Jackson. Give Berry an assist.
That's nice offense.
Jackson is limited to 2 points in the first half. Mark Jackson now up to 10. Television timeout is called. 10:38 remaining in regulation. Syracuse 53, St. John's 50. Back at the Big East title game, Len Berman with Walter Berry and Bill Raftery.
Well, I'm along for the ride. Walter not touching the ball much down in the box. You see Ronnie peeking, but he can make this shot. He'll find the hole. He thinks from early morning.
Offense. Now look how things have switched around. Syracuse went from 73 to 46 field goal shooting. St. John's up the ante from 39 to 75. Reversal of form. Syracuse led by 13. St. John's cut it to 2, but now if Syracuse connects, they can go up by 5 again.
Syracuse unable to get those fast breaks because of the good shooting too. Stops the Pearl, it quiets him a little bit. Man to man. Shelton Jones caught completely.
Trish. 13 for Howard Trish. His career high is just 16, and he's threatening that in his biggest game. Midway second half now. Syracuse by 5, 55-50. That's the Pearl move we had come up with. Jackson doing that same little move, faking the shot and backing off.
They haven't been spacing real well. Now, Willie goes all the way over. If they can get between defenders, it's a little bit of a match.
Jackson deep. Short. Shelton Jones over the top.
I guess Shelton got a piece with the other arm, but they were up high.
2 fouls on Jones. It's just the first that St. John's has committed here in the second half. Syracuse has committed 4.
I thought they were going to just let them go. But Mark Jackson with his shot unable to convert.
Now Syracuse can up it to a 7-point lead. 9:20 left. Barry tipped it away. Syracuse will keep it.
No question, Jimmy Boeheim wants to challenge Walter Berry. Wendell Alexis very active in the low post. Here's the high-low. Alexis high.
Cycling fouled by Berry. That's his 3rd.
Isn't that something? You work all half to get Alexis the ball, so Berry gets number 3. They get it to Cycling. He goes down and grabs him.
So now the fouls can be damaging to both squads. Berry, Alexis, Cycling all with 3. Cycling is just a 56% foul shooter. But he's hit 2 for 2 tonight. Maybe he waits too long at the line. He takes an extra dribble, stops, dribbles it again. Maybe he should just get up there and fire.
Well, it's not fluid. He sort of stops in the middle of it. When he bends his knees, he's got to continue the flow. Pulls the string on occasion.
Alexis. A block by Shelton Jones.
And this is off a Syracuse player. I thought it was going out of bounds.
What a block by Jones.
Jimmy Boeheim doesn't agree.
After a good rebound by Alexis. The level just picking up a notch, huh?
See the trap. Good step in.
Addison steals. Ahead for Washington. And fouled by Rowan.
Pearl just loves challenges. Addison right away knew he would be taken off down the floor. Found him. But he loves to take it to the defender. And Shelton Jones, probably the best athlete. And Willie Glass will get mad on this St. John's club. You see him, great block. He kept it in play by using the glass.
Pearl a little bit under a 72% foul shooter, but hits his 13th point there.
St. John's has to regroup now. Syracuse has diffused their run just a little bit.
Orangemen by 7 again. 8.5 minutes remaining. Rowan's open.
Well, when he is set, he's got a little more movement than Harold Jensen has right now in his career. By that, he can put it down a little bit better than Harold, but they are terrific setup jump shooters.
And Mark Jackson, with that assist, has tied the NCAA record for 309 assists in one season. Lee Geddes of Houston a couple of years back.
Ronnie
Cycling off the glass for 14 points.
Challenging, offensive-minded. For Shelton Jones behind. You can't play behind. Good job by Cycling stepping in front of Walter Berry.
7:45 remaining. Syracuse leads by 7. Willie Glass runs into Trish.
It's going to be on Ronnie.
And Cycling just picked up his 4th. Needless to say what that means.
Marco Baldi is up for Willie Glass. And he was fouled. And Lou Conaseca trying not to upset Willie Glass because the horn would have been blown and Willie would have seen he's coming out.
Oh, I see.
A little psychology here. Willie never likes to leave the floor.
Cycling has to leave with 4 fouls and 7:40 remaining. Rodney Walker replaces him. Willie Glass will shoot 2.
You've got to know your players, Len. I guess Louis knows Willie Glass.
He would have glanced over and seen that he was being substituted for, so maybe Louis will make the substitution now. Television timeout. 7:40 left. Syracuse leads St. John's in the title game, 59-54. And the Big East Tournament Championship, whetting your appetite for the NCAA Championships. Live first-round action, noon Eastern. Of course, on ESPN, they'll go all day, all night. Live games, tape games. They'll just go on and with the NCAAs. And you'll get to see it all starting live, noon Eastern, first-round action on ESPN.
Oh, he talked about low post defense. You see Shelton Jones dead, way behind, and Ronnie Cycli with the height difference just taking advantage. And it's the Longhorn, huh?
But there's 4 on number 4. Yes. 4 fouls, and Cycli's out. 7:30 remaining. Syracuse without their center, but a 5-point lead to work with.
1-3-1 again.
And they choose to work the clock a little bit. Addison open.
Now, he hasn't taken a shot in a long time, and sneaking down the floor is Ron Rowan.
And a major league foul by Trish. His second. I'll tell you what I like about these clubs is there's no bad blood. These are mostly New York City kids who know each other, and when there's a rough foul or something, it's usually a shake of the hand afterwards, and they know the score. It's none of the cheap shot stuff.
Well, play hard and, you know, take no prisoners type of thing.
Nice to see. Rowan from the line. The Big East #1 foul shooter. Can cut the deficit to 3 with 7 minutes and 12 seconds left. Ooh, misses one. Rare for him.
The double fist. The St. John's signal for 1-3-1.
7 minutes to go and counting. Syracuse leading by 4. This sort of stymies the Pearl's penetration. That's the nice thing about it. But they can get a nice 15-foot jumper. They keep trying. 45-second clock inside 15. Addison will try. Technical foul called against the Syracuse bench. So the shot was no good anyway. So St. John's will get 2 shots on the line and the ball, which will give them a chance for 4 points and a tie. They may just have a timeout. Did you see the tee? Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. Now the officials are huddling. Let's see. That whistle was blown during the shot, Bill. Well, let's see what the call is now. The way he signaled, I thought it was tee. Well, Jimmy's been on Jody from that Shelton Jones block. He thought that was goaltending, but he's been very quiet. Well, who can call? Are you allowed to call a timeout from the bench? No. So who called the timeout? International rules, you go up and tell the timer, and then he can call it, but a player on the floor, so we'll see. They're still undecided.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of this game.
Well, apparently a timeout was called. I have no clue how. The way it was all set up, I was convinced there was a technical. It pointed right at the bench. Bench can't call a timeout. We'll be back. Okay, the word we got is that Jody Sylvester, the official, had a player near him call a timeout, and he was standing by the bench, immediately signaled timeout and pointed to the bench. I thought it was T. Let's see Pearl Washington up at the top, official Jody Sylvester behind him. Let's look at Pearl. Pearl passes off, turns around. Ooh, just almost. Pearl looks as if he's signaling time, so that sorts that out. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Because we had Jimmy down and dirty with a 2-shot. Good rebound. Cycli's back in the game, and how? What a lift that basket is. Of course, Cycli has to be careful. What a turnaround. Willie Glass misses. Tapped by Trish. And over the top, Berry. That is 4 on him. So what a turnaround right here. Instead of Syracuse ball off a missed shot, Syracuse gets it back. Cycli comes back in and jams it. And then a foul on Berry. Wow. Well, Willie Glass has had a couple of little jumpers in the lane, and he hasn't shot them, Len. He's thrown them. If he would shoot the jumper, it might go down. Jimmy Boeheim countering, taking Cycli out, figuring he'll save him.
see what Lou does with Walter Berry.
So the biggest play right here seems to be a sneaky timeout that Pearl called just as Addison was firing up a 20-footer.
And I would go right to Alexis. And so does the Pearl.
Last the rebound. So the Orangemen by 6 with 5:40 to go.
Step in there, Mark Jackson. Look at the distance.
Cycley's back out. So Cycley and Berry each with 4 personals. Marco Baldi in. He's got the ball for St. John's and wants to shoot it. And rolls it in.
Nice looking move. They've been able to get that ball there because everybody is looking for Walter Berry low. Earlier it was Shelton Jones shaping up in the 3-second lane.
We near the 5-minute mark. Syracuse leads by 4.
Howard Trish had ideas there, didn't he? Wendell Alexis trying to post up on Walter Berry. They're really not running their offense. They just want to see if they can get Walter out of the game.
Alexis backs it in.
Great penetration once again.
14 assists for Pearl Washington. That ties a tournament record set by Mark Jackson last night. Syracuse leads by 6. They get it to Baldi. And he's fouled.
Trish got caught behind. He was out in the wing, and Baldi, reading the pass around the perimeter, stepped in. Not a good free throw shooter.
Cycley in. Walker out. Ball is in line. Shoots 51.9%.
You shot better than that before the game with your boys.
Barely. He's shooting 1-and-1.
Huh. That surprises me.
It was a little bit surprising.
A little continuation.
Yeah. Look at that.
And a baby Marco. Love to hear Louis and Marco having a serious discussion.
Swishes 2. 4 points for Baldi. 4:18 to go. Syracuse leads by 4, 63-59. Addison. Short. Berry the rebound and fouled.
Cycley, I don't know about this one.
Cycley fouled out. Pete Pavia said he pushed Baldi.
He was a distance from Baldi after the play stopped. But Walter Berry with good position and the rebound. And Ronnie does have a habit of extending the arms or giving it a shove. Oh, he did lean on him. Peter Pavia right on top of it. And Baldi, a factor. Great game by Cycley, too.
Baldi looked like he was moving back a little bit, too.
Well, he had the arm on that shoulder, though. Made it an easier call for Peter Pavia. You know, the lean, and it's like climbing a fence. Push down to get up.
And would you believe if Baldi hits this one, it will be 6 points, which matches his career high in the Big East Championship game.
Well, Louis is an Iron Man coach.
Wow.
He lets them all play 40 if they can.
4 swishes from the foul line for Marco Baldi. And Syracuse calls another timeout. Boeheim says, where was the foul? 4 minutes to go. It's now a 2-point game for the championship. 4 minutes to go. Ronnie Cycley is fouled out for Syracuse. The Orange lead is 2. It's their ball, 63-61. And they're staring at history. St. John's has never lost a Big East game at Madison Square Garden to anyone except the Hoyas, to whom they've lost 5 times. You know, Syracuse is now down to just 1 timeout, Bill. St. John's has 2 left.
As Louis called 2 very early, still has the others left.
And who would have thought Marco Baldi would be playing such a... He has scored the last 6 points in the game.
Very competitive. Now the 1-3-1 again. And it's negated the Pearl just a little bit. Until now. Mark Jackson fell on the floor. That's how that pass got through.
16 for Pearl. Syracuse leads by 4. 3.5 minutes to go.
But they've done a nice job on Walter Burry low. Good tip away there. Great help. A front and a back. Very tough to get it to somebody 6'9" when 6'11 is in front and 6'10 in the rear. Good help.
But the inbounds pass came to Burry. He dunked it home and was fouled.
And
here it is.
It's been a while. I saw this against Villanova. Baldi drew everybody with them. Walter with the timing and a great assist from out of bounds. You don't see those too often.
And Trish picked up his 4th personal. And now St. John's can cut it to 1. The closest they have been in the game since the opening tip-off. They have never led.
You have to compliment Walter Burry. He's played within himself. He's been active. He hasn't touched the ball as often as he did against Villanova or all year long.
16 for Burry. Syracuse's lead is 1. 3:20 to go. You know, there's never been a 1 or a 2-point game in the Big East championship game. There's been a triple overtime and a single overtime, but the closest score in a Big East title game is 3. Pearl tipped by Burry and went in.
Walter got a piece. Jumped it up a notch there.
You think this is a one-on-one game here on out? Pearl against Burry?
Pearl's going to have it in his hands if it's important, but 2 major goals there by the backcourt man.
2:45 to go. Syracuse leads by 3, 67-64.
Baldi with a good pick to almost free rowing.
Mark Jackson doesn't go. Baldi gets it back. Ooh, in and out. Burry rims it. 3 chances for St. John's. It would not go. Syracuse fans are on their feet. Pearl applauds, as Alexis does, as they come up the floor with a 3-point lead. That was big.
Back to man-to-man.
Alexis doesn't go. Burry the rebound.
Now St. John's gets the same type of shots as they did the last 3. It'll be a 1-point game.
Rowan nails it.
Deep.
67-66 Syracuse.
Dickie Weiss was telling me, the writer from the Philadelphia Daily News, that Mark Plansky called Rowan a serene player. He proved it there. Cool.
This crowd is not serene as Syracuse spends its last timeout. That's it for Syracuse with 1:39 to go.
This jump shot's on the 22-foot line. A 3-point goal in the NBA. Very deep. Again,
Swish.
Technique is beautiful.
This is really something. 1:39 remaining. Syracuse out of timeouts with a 1-point lead. St. John's has 2 remaining. The arrow points in favor of St. John's on the next tied-up ball. Saikali has fouled out, but the other players, boy, they're putting on a show. Walter Burry has 16 points, 8 rebounds. The Pearl, 18 points, 14 assists, tying the tournament record, and just 1 turnover.
You hear players who love to play at Madison Square Garden all during the year. But the Pearl comes in here, the maestro, center stage, loves the action, loves the emotion, and he's been carrying the Orangemen the last few minutes.
Of course, Burry carrying St. John's. Marco Baldi getting quite a bit of playing time. Doesn't appear that Shelton Jones is hurt. It's just that Baldi's doing a good job.
For the man, he's reacted well.
Talk about a secret weapon.
Whoa, Alexis almost fell inbounds.
Here we go.
1-3-1 again.
Minute and a half to go.
Raphael's right at that elbow. That's his shot.
45-second clock inside of 15. Now it's inside of 10. Called against Willie Glass, and that'll put Pearl at the line, shooting 1 and 1. Both teams in the bonus now.
Willie really just had to move his feet. He was caught on the Pearl's right hand. He would have gotten help in the 1-3-1. Wasn't a real good play by Willie Glass.
And he earns the big second one.
Money in the bank.
Cycli applauds him, having been disqualified. 20 points for Washington. A minute 11 remaining. St. John's trailing it by 3. They choose not to call the timeout. Down to a minute. A must-hoop situation on this trip. Can they get it to Burry somehow?
Good kick pass. Willie had it.
Passed up the shot. 48 seconds to go. And that will be St. John's ball, as we mentioned before, on the arrow. But just 41 seconds to go.
Oh, that kick out pass to Willie Glass. They may not get a better shot than that one.
Now the 45-second clock is off because only 41 seconds remain.
And St. John's not a great pressing team either, as you well know. But they score.
Mark Jackson wanted the ball, went up with a shot, goes out of bounds. St. John's keeps it with 34 seconds to go.
Louis down on the baseline looking for a call. Got to watch the alley-oop for Willie. They got it.
And fouled by Alexis. That's his 4th. But Glass, a 70% foul shooter, will go to the line. But tonight from the line, Glass is 5 for 5.
Well, he's improved his free throw shooting. In the 50s, low 60s. Past year and a half really improved.
He's shooting 2. 18 points. He is St. John's high scorer.
Now, you know the ball's going to be in the Pearl's hands, so they're going to have to run some sort of trap to make him kick it. Man-to-man full.
32 seconds to go. Syracuse doesn't have to shoot. They lead by 1. And they foul the Pearl. Mark Jackson does.
Not a bad play, though. Got to make him stop the clock.
And Pearl will shoot 1 and 1 with 26 seconds to go. Remember, St. John's does have a couple of timeouts left.
You're hoping, obviously, he only makes one of them.
Wayne Washington on the line, 1 and 1.
Or none.
St. John's. 20 seconds to go. Timeout call. The missed foul shot by the Pearl gives St. John's a second life with 19 seconds to go. Syracuse's lead is 69-68.
Jimmy Boeheim in his huddle, thoughts going through his mind, should I change my defense? And of course, the reason for him maybe even thinking about it is Lou is undoubtedly setting up what he wants run against the zone. Now, a lot of clubs will run the same set, so you're ready for either defense. But I would think he might want to come out and play some man-to-man. Of course, then that opens up Walter Burry, so you're damned if you do, damned if you don't type of thing.
And one of my favorite questions, how long do you wait before you take the shot?
Well, it varies. Obviously, you want to take it so you can tip it in, so you're talking 7, 8 seconds. Or if a real good one shows early and you get into your low post play like Walter Burry, you might go strong. But you want to give yourself a chance to win it with a tip or foul a guy when it comes in bounds again. So you have another opportunity. You've got to think of other opportunities.
The Big East championship hangs in the next 19 seconds as Syracuse tries to hold a 1-point lead. They have no timeouts left.
Fancy that. I think they'll go for it right away if it's a good one. Step in so they get another chance at it. Because the defense has caused them to run some clock. It's going.
Rowan hits it with 9 seconds to go. Syracuse runs up the floor with no timeouts. The Pearl blocked, and it's over. The St. John's Redmen have just taken the lead for the first time tonight. They do it at the final buzzer. A Ron Rowan jumper wins it. The Redmen on the floor signaling they are #1. The Orangemen, their heads down as St. John's wins its second Big East title in 4 years. The closest Big East title game ever. A 1-point game, 70-69. Pearl's shot was blocked on the last attempt.
I believe it was Walter Burry, but could you believe he got the ball up the floor that quickly to get a shot? But St. John's hung tough. Great second half. And with 8 seconds to go, Ron Rowan actually forced a little bit, but he's got such a great stroke, able to follow it and follow through. Rowan in the corner. Just so awesome all year long. And Willie Glass up on top of the rim.
Remember Billy Goodwin 3 years ago? That picture made the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Well, Willie always
for this one. Willie Glass standing on the rim, signifying the Redmen are #1.
Well, Willie plays above the rim. Now he's standing above the rim. But Ron Rowan with the corner jumper. Gorgeous stroke. We'll take a look at it now, Lenny. Baseline dribble, actually caught, ends up forcing it here. He knows about 8 left as he shoots the ball. Now, the amazing thing is the Pearl able to get it the length of the floor as quickly as possible. And Walter Burry, I believe, gets a hand on it underneath. He'll turn the corner here. And the dip, and here it is. He's been doing it all year. Walter Burry.
Burry over the top. And then time ran out on the Orangemen. The coach of the year says...
And the assistant... He's still got a little pep left.
He says, I'm 61 years old. I'm not tired. Why should my players be? Look at this. Walter Burry has now won a high school championship, a junior college championship, and a Big East championship. The only thing left for him, an NCAA title.
Willie Glass having a ball as Walter Burry is draped, but he's still trotting around. Mark Jackson leading to one end. As exciting a finish as we've had, Lenny. A new haircut.
Most exciting Big East tournament final.
And nothing to be ashamed of. Tremendous performance.
I doubt it'll make him feel any better with the missed foul shot and the block shot. But Pearl Washington has just been named the tournament most valuable player.
Tremendous.
And it will not make him feel any better.
And he has answered his critics the last month. Obviously, the most talented backcourtman we've seen all year.
There are some trophies to hand out. Hopefully we can talk to the winners. We will be back. The Big East champions are St. John's. Back at Madison Square Garden, the champions are St. John's. I think the best move of the night may have been the coach when time ran out.
Let me tell you something. You know, you're scratching, looks like nothing is going your way. And these kids, they've been like that all year long. I come from behind, everything else. Great.
Louis, 2 thoughts. At the half, what did you say? You were struggling.
I didn't tell him. I said, look, fellas, I don't have to tell you. We usually show the videotape. I says, let's not show it. I said, look, we're down 11 points. Let's try to chip it away with 10 minutes. Let's try to get down to 5 or 6. And then let's see what happens. You can't play any worse.
The second question, the last time out.
Okay.
First good shot that showed.
And then hammer the boards. And if we blow it, foul.
You're putting pressure on the referee when you say hammer the boards.
I didn't get any call. Hey, that shot, we'll never forget that shot.
Ron Rowan, unbelievable.
Louis, you were supposed to finish 4th. Coach of the year, regular season, now the tournament championship. Where does this magic ride in?
Yeah, let me enjoy this. Where does it end? Where does it end? I don't even want to think about it.
Louis, the Pearl, you've got to consider him one of the best guards we've seen.
I tell you, you worry about his penetration, he sticks to Jay. And his hands were so quick tonight. But wait a minute now. I'm not going to talk about them.
Oh, no.
I'm going to talk about my kids.
Absolutely.
And my kids were marvelous. But hey, even the big import did a heck of a job.
Marco Baldi.
A key, 6 points.
I have to translate here.
He made a great pass. Willie Glass didn't shoot the ball, but he made a great kick-out pass.
Let me tell you. And this is not to philosophize. Look at 1 point. Complete ecstasy. You blow it, your head is in the sand. But my head is ecstasy now.
Congratulations, Lou.
Louis, thank you. Nice shot.
Amazing. Bill, your thoughts. I'm going to grab a list of the all-tournament team here, but your thoughts here.
Well, again, I mentioned the Pearl, Lenny, obviously, because at the end he did not stop playing. He ended up getting the ball as close to the basket in like 6 seconds. He amazed me all evening long, but St. John's resilient as you look at some of the St. John's players, and this guy deserves the applause, but they hung in there. They love close games. They react very well.
And Walter Berry made the all-tournament team. Mark Jackson did. Cycli, Reggie Williams, Harold Presley, Dwayne Washington, the MVP. But Ron Rowan hits it. Berry blocks it. The Redmen win the title 70-69. Coming up next, the WAC Conference Championship between UTEP and Wyoming. And Bob Lee and Chris Wallace will keep you updated each at ESPN's Conference Tournament Central. Tonight's Big East Championship game has been brought to you by Today's Chevrolet, who invites you to live the style, performance, and fun of Chevrolet in '86. And by the financial professionals at Payne Weber Incorporated. Look at them go. The St. John's Redmen, delirious in victory. A team picked to finish 4th before the season. Syracuse was picked to finish 1st. The slimmest of margins. The reactions tell the story. The Lou Carnesecca shuffle. He is now on the shoulders of his players as the Redmen win the title 70-69. For Bill Raftery, I'm Len Berman. Thank you, everybody.